ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضاه. Today inshallah we're going to start the next lesson, الدرس الثامن, the 8th lesson. But let's quickly go over the homework from the previous lesson. We had two pieces of homework. The first one, اقرأ واكتب, read and write. Read and write. And we have here 8 or 7 sentences which I have written in my book. طيب, I've written these sentences out just to save time. Now I'm going to add the tashkil. The first one says هذه مدرسة. هذه مدرسة. This is a school. وتلك طيب جامعة. هذه مدرسة وتلك جامعة. This is a school and that is a university. So هذه and تلك, both used for pointing out feminine things. The difference between the two is this is for things which are near, this is for things which are far. Next one, ذلك حمار. ذلك حمار. وتلك بقرة. ذلك حمار, that is a donkey. وتلك بقرة, and that is a cow. ذلك, تلك, both pointing out objects which are far. The difference between the two is one is مذكر, حمار is مذكر, تلك is مؤنث, pointing out something which is مؤنث, the بقرة. Next one, أذلك مسجد. Question, أذلك مسجد, is that a masjid? Answer, لا. تلك مدرسة. No, that is a school. The question was أذلك مسجد, is that a masjid? We're asking about masjid, so we use ذلك. The answer was تلك مدرسة, that is a school. So he's changed in the answer the اسم الإشارة to something which is pointing at a feminine object. Next one, هذا جمل. هذا جمل, this is a camel. وتلك ناقة. ناقة is a she camel, feminine, masculine. So we use هذا for the masculine camel, وتلك for the feminine one. And the difference is this one is close and this one is further away. Next one, هذه مدرسة. This is a school. وتلك طالبات. Or actually this is not madrasatun, you see. So this is mudarrisatun. It could be madrasatun actually. This is a school and that is a student, but it's not appropriate. I think the more appropriate word to use in this case is mudarrisatun. So let's change that. So مدرسة. هذه مدرسة. This is a teacher and that is a student. This is more appropriate. طيب, next one, هذا كلب. This is a dog. وذلك قط. Shut down the ta. This is a dog and that is a cat. And the final one, هذا بيت. This is a house. Oh no, this is not a house actually. This is why it's very important to continue reading the whole sentence. You see, there's a relationship between this word and this word, and I have not considered that, and I put tanween, which is wrong. This is mudaf ilayh, so I take off the tanween and put one dhamma instead. هذا بيت المؤذن. This is the mu'adhin's house. The mu'adhin's house. وتلك. Okay, is there mudaf ilayhi? Yes, so I'm not going to put tanween here. حديقة التاجر. This is the mu'adhin's house and that is the merchant's garden. حديقة is garden. طيب, this is the first piece of homework. The second piece of homework that was required from us was أشر الكلمات الآتية باسم إشارة للبعيد ذلك تلك. We need to point to the following words using the ismul ishara for things which are far. And we have dhalika or tilka, if it's masculine or feminine. Dhalika for masculine, tilka for feminine. I'm not going to write this out in the book just to save time. So we're just going to go through it and mention dhalika or tilka. These two words, inshallah, should be easy. Everyone should write this out in their books. But I'm just doing it here to save time. Feminine, صح? Mother. So I would say tilka that is a mother. Abun, dhalika abun, that is a father. Qalamun, dhalika qalamun, that is a pen. Mil'aqatun is feminine, so tilka mil'aqatun. That, both translations means that, yeah? That, except that we're considering and taking into consideration the gender. Tilka mil'aqatun, that is a spoon. Tilka aynun, that is an eye. Dhalika hajarun, that is a rock. Dhalika qamisun, that is a shirt. Tilka qidrun, that is a pot. Qidr is feminine, you have to remember that, yeah? Tilka nafidhatun, that is a window. Tilka baqaratun, that is a cow. Dhalika maktabun, that is a desk. Tilka naqatun, that is a she-camel. Dhalika muhandisun, that is an engineer. Dhalika muadhinun, that is a muadhin. Tilka mumarridatun, tilka mumarridatun, that is a nurse, female nurse. Dhalika sarirun, that is a bed. Dhalika or tilka? Tilka, naam, because it has ta marbuta. Tilka hadiqatun, that is a garden. Tilka talibatun, that is a student, a female student. Dhalika jamalun, that is a camel. Tilka battatun, that is a duck. So we've come to the end of the exercises. And then we had the ismul ishara, which we discussed last lesson. But I want to show you something. Maybe this is better, inshallah. So we have two types of asma'ul ishara. We have asma'ul ishara lil qarib. We can categorize asma'ul ishara into two categories. Ones which are used to point out things which are close, qarib. Asma'ul ishara lil qarib. Asma'ul isharati lil qarib. Asma'ul ishara, demonstrative pronouns used for pointing out objects which are close. And then the other section, asma'ul ishara lil ba'id. Asma'ul ishara, demonstrative pronouns used for pointing out things which are far. Two categories. And these categories, two categories, are both the same, yani, in terms of the way they're laid out. So we have ones which are for mufrad, singular objects, muthanna, dual, jam', anything more than two. And then each one is divided into objects which are mudhakkar and mu'annath. Yeah, so the same layout is applied on both sides. Okay, if the object is singular, masculine, close. You see, if the object is singular, masculine, close, we say hadha. If the object is close, it's singular and it's feminine, we say hadhihi. And these are the ones that we've taken already on this side. On this side, we've taken dhalika and tilka. It's far, singular, and it's mudhakkar. If it's mudhakkar, we say dhalika. If it's far, it's singular, and it's feminine, we say tilka. Okay, so we've taken 4 asma'ul ishara. I want you to add this section, muthanna section, which was not added in this one. If you have it like this, then you have all of them, inshallah. Okay, so we have muthanna asma'ul ishara. You're pointing out dual, two specific things. And then the asma'ul ishara, they have conditions, which I've written up here. And it's very important for a student of knowledge to be organized in his note taking, because this is going to help you in being able to teach this book, to revise for yourself, and to come back to it in future if you ever need to recap on anything that you've learnt. So asma'ul ishara, asma is the plural of ism. Asma'ul ishara, the demonstrative pronouns that we've taken so far are 4. Hadha, this, dhalika, that, hadhihi, this, tilka, also that. Each one has 3 conditions. Okay, so for hadha, the object has to be mudhakkar, masculine, singular, mufrad, qarib, close. If these 3 conditions are applied, we use hadha. If one of these is missing, for example, it's mudhakkar, it's qarib, but instead of mufrad is something else, then we wouldn't use hadha. If one of these conditions are missing, then we don't use hadha, we use a different ismul ishara. Okay, next one, ذلك is used for something which is مذكر, object which is مذكر, masculine. I haven't written it because it should be understood already, inshallah. مذكر, مفرد, singular. بعيد, something which is far. هذه مؤنث, and I've written here مفردة, مفردة. I've added a ta marbuta because we learned this already. That we can, if it's the feminine version, we add ta marbuta. So the object is mufrada, singular, and it's qaribah. Yeah, qaribah. You just add ta marbuta, qaribatun. Mu'annath is mu'annath. We don't need to add ta marbuta to mudhakkarah and it becomes mu'annath. No, we have its own separate word, mu'annathun, feminine. Mufradatun for tilka, yeah. So tilka is used for mu'annath, mufradatun, ba'idatun. Instead of ba'idun, ba'idatun. Instead of mufradun, mufradatun. Okay, so I want you to write these notes down, leave space, so when you add more, you have the conditions there, and at the bottom of the page, you will do this table here. Okay, I want you to write this down. Okay, so now we're going to start the next lesson, inshallah. الدرس الثامن. الدرس الثامن. The 8th lesson. الدرس الثامن means the 8th lesson. Okay, we're going to read through the text, inshallah, and then after that we're going to explain the main concept or the rule that the author wants to introduce in this lesson. هذا الرجل تاجر. هذا الرجل تاجر. This man is a merchant. وذلك الرجل طبيب. And that man is a doctor. اسم التاجر محمود. اسم التاجر محمود. The merchant's name is Mahmud. واسم الطبيب سعيد. And the doctor's name is Sa'id. هذا البيت للتاجر. هذا البيت للتاجر. This house belongs to or is for the merchant. This house belongs to the merchant. وذلك البيت للطبيب. And that house belongs to the doctor. بيت التاجر أمام المسجد. بيت التاجر أمام المسجد. The merchant's house. بيت التاجر مضاف مضاف إليه. The merchant's house. أمام means in front of. This is an adverb. In front of. In front of the masjid. The merchant's house is in front of the masjid. وبيت الطبيب خلف المدرسة. وبيت الطبيب and the doctor's house. خلف is the opposite of أمام. أمام in front, خلف behind. وبيت الطبيب خلف المدرسة. And the doctor's house is behind the school. لمن هذه السيارة. لمن, to whom belongs this car. هذه السيارة, this car. ولمن تلك, and to whom belongs that, يعني that car. Whose car is this and whose car is that, basically. هذه السيارة للطبيب. This car belongs to the doctor. وتلك للتاجر. And that one belongs to the merchant. هذه السيارة من اليابان. This car is from Japan. وتلك من أمريكا. And that one is from America. This car is from Japan and that one is from America. Okay, so this is the text for today's lesson, and inshallah now we're going to extract the new rules. The first and the most important rule in this lesson is, what's the difference between هذا رجل and هذا الرجل? The difference between these two sentences is that this is a sentence and we can put a full stop and it's meaningful, whereas this one is not a meaningful sentence. It's not a meaningful sentence, so we can't put a full stop here. This is incomplete. هذا رجل means this is a man. هذا رجل مبتدا خبر. We mentioned that the mubtada and the khabar, if the khabar is one worded, will be different in terms of ma'rifah. The mubtada comes as ma'rifah and the khabar comes as nakira. So this is ma'rifah, this is nakira. هذا رجل, هذا بيت. The khabar will come as nakira. This is a general rule. طيب. So this is a complete sentence. Whereas here, the mubtada and the khabar are both ma'rifah. We mentioned previously that the noun, in terms of it being definite or indefinite, is divided into two categories. Al-ismu min haythu al-ta'rif wa al-tankir. The noun, in terms of it being definite or indefinite, is two types. It's either indefinite or definite. Most nouns, or the origin of nouns, is that they are nakira, they are indefinite. Baytun, rajulun. There's something has to occur for it to become ma'rifah. This is the origin. وَهُوَ الْأَصْلُ. And that is the origin, that they are nakira. Ma'rifah nouns are 7 types in total. We've taken 6 out of the 7. The first one is asma'ul isharati. What does this mean? This means all demonstrative pronouns are ma'rifah. All demonstrative pronouns are ma'rifah. هذا, هذه, هؤلاء, which we're going to learn, تلك, ذلك, هذان, هاتان. All of the asma'ul ishara in the Arabic language are ma'rifah, because you're pointing at something which is definite. The next one is ad-dama'ir. Dama'ir are pronouns. All of the dama'ir in the Arabic language are ma'rifah. Dama'ir is the plural of damir. We mentioned this word previously. So we had huwa, hiya, and anta. So far we've learnt he, she, and anta, you. These 3 dama'ir and the rest of the dama'ir are all ma'rifah, because they're referring to someone specific. So it's definite. The next one is al-mu'arraf bi-al. This is how we term it or refer to it in Arabic. The noun which is made definite with the addition of al. Al-mu'arraf bi-al. Remember, al, that's added at the beginning of the noun. Rajulun, ar-rajul, and it becomes definite. So the one that's been made definite via addition of al. This is number 3. Number 4 is al-alamu. Alam is proper nouns. Proper nouns, names of people, names of countries, names of tribes, names of things. So if I had, for example, sa'atun. Sa'atun means a watch. Sa'atun is nakira. But if I take the watch and give it a name, a brand, it becomes ma'rifah. For example, we have watches called Psycho, for example. Psycho or Citizen or any other name. This name now is a alam. It's a name of a thing, so it becomes ma'rifah. I'm talking about specific brand of watch, not just any watch. طيب, if I say makan, makan means place. But if I give this makan a name and I say London, for example, or America, it becomes a specific place. Rajulun is a man. If I take a man and I give him a name and I say Muhammadun, he becomes specific, definite. طيب, so names of places, names of tribes, names of things also fall into this category. Proper nouns, that's what they call it in English. Number 5 is mudaf to ma'rifah. Al-mudafu ila ma'rifah. If you do idafa, take a noun and make it mudaf to any of these that have come here, then it becomes ma'rifah. So if, for example, we had baytun. Baytun is nakira, right? Baytun, a house. If I said baytu hadha, the house of this, and I was pointing to a man, baytu hadha. طيب, liman hadha al-bayt, whose house is this? And I said baytu hadha, it's the house of this. So this house belongs to this. So this is, the house becomes ma'rifah because it's been, the idafa has been done to something which is ma'rifah, which is ismul ishara, baytu hadha or baytu hadhihi, and so on. Also dama'ir. If I said baytuhu, his house, or baytuha, baytuka, and so on. We're going to learn these dama'ir inshallah, the attached pronouns, we're going to learn them. But the point is just to give you examples of anything which is mudaf to something which is ma'rifah also becomes ma'rifah. So example of mudaf to mu'arraf bi-al would be baytul tabibi, for example, or baytur rajuli. بيت المدرس. بيت التاجر to the end. علم بيت محمد. بيت آمنة. بيت بيت الله, for example. بيت الله, the house of Allah, which is the masjid. طيب. المنادى. Remember منادى, we had حرف النداء. حرف النداء is the ya, and the المنادى is the noun that comes after it. So waladun, for example, is nakira. Waladun is nakira. But if I say ya waladu, that boy becomes a specific boy. I'm calling a specific boy. Ya waladu, oh boy. Ya rajulu, oh man, and so on. Okay, so we have 6 of them, and it's important to know what is ma'rifah and what is nakira and differentiate between the two, because there are certain rules which revolve around knowing the difference between these two. So when we said here now, we came back, let's go back to our lesson now. Original lesson, we said we have هذا رجل هذا الرجل. Here we're saying this is ma'rifah and this is nakira. Why is this ma'rifah? Because ismul ishara. So we said that the mubtada and the khabar, they oppose in terms of ma'rifah and nakira. The mubtada is ma'rifah, the khabar is nakira. Here they both match. This is ma'rifah, this is ma'rifah. This is ma'rifah because ismul ishara, this is ma'rifah because it has al attached. So this is not a complete sentence, whereas this is a complete sentence. This is not a complete sentence because this and this are exactly the same thing. It's one thing we're talking about. طيب, هذا الرجل, the thing I'm pointing out is the man. But I'm not giving information to say is the man, I'm saying this man. So when we translate this, we're saying this man. This man. Whereas this, in English, we say this is a man. هذا رجل, this is a man. Whereas this one is هذا الرجل, this man. What about this man? The sentence is incomplete. So I need to bring a khabar. I could say طويل, and it's nakira. Notice how the khabar is nakira. طويل, كبير, مدرس, صالح, مسلم, to the end. Yeah, you bring a khabar which is suitable, and this khabar is going to be nakira if it's one-worded. Or you can use a different type of khabar. You could say fil bayti, in the house, jar majur. هذا الرجل في البيت. هذا الرجل من اليابان, is from Japan. هذا الرجل من أمريكا, is from America, to the end. So this is the difference between هذا الرجل and هذا الرجل. This is the first thing that we need to know in this lesson. Okay, the second point, the second matter that we want to speak about that's mentioned in this lesson is these words here, أمام and خلف. Previously we took تحت. تحت was the first one that came, but we didn't give it time. تحت. Now we have أمام and خلف. تحت, under, below. أمام, in front of something. خلف, behind. Okay, behind. These words, and there's more, are known as ظرف. ظرف in Arabic. ظرف singular. What's a ظرف? It's an adverb. So these particular ones, they tell you location. So they are ظرف مكان. مضاف مضاف إليه. ظرف مكان if it's adverb of place. So we have two types of adverbs. We have ظرف مكان, adverb of place, tells you the place, location where something is happening. And we also have ظرف زمان, adverb of time, the time something is happening. Some things will tell you, some of these words, these adverbs will tell you the time where the action is happening, or the place where it's happening. طيب, so we have two types. ظرف مكان مضاف مضاف إليه. ظرف زمان مضاف مضاف إليه also. Adverb of time, adverb of place. So these ones that we have here are adverb of makan. They tell you the place. The most important thing is that most of these types of adverbs, you find that they come with a noun after it which ends with a kasra or kasratain. So the noun after this will end with kasra or kasratain. Why is that? That's because this noun acts like a mudaf. These nouns, they act like a mudaf. Not all of them, not all of them. We're saying most of them, they act like a mudaf, and the word that comes after is mudaf ilayhi. This is why we have أمام المسجد. So when we do the i'rab, we'd say mudaf ilayhi. خلف المدرسة mudaf ilayhi. And then we had the one in the other lesson, I believe it was lesson 5 here, تحت المكتب. Now you understand why it's maktabi, because this is mudaf ilayhi. I think we mentioned it in this lesson. The lesson of mudaf ilayhi, he mentioned this particularly to indicate to you that a lot of the dharfs, the adverbs, they act like mudaf ilayhi. And you find that most of the dharfs, they end with fatha. That's because these are mansoob. What's mansoob? We mentioned majroor, marfu', mansoob. We haven't spoken about mansoob at all, I don't think. Mansoob is the one that ends with fatha or fathatain. We mentioned this previously. Why they are mansoob, this is going to be explained later on, inshallah. Tahta, amama, khalfa, these words are mansoob. And at the same time, they are mudaf, and the word that comes after are mudaf ilayhi. But not all of them are mudaf. Okay? Not all of them are mudaf. For example, this word which came also, hunaka, is another adverb. Hunaka is an adverb of place. Hunaka, over there. If we take off the kaf, huna means over here. Huna means over here. Hunaka means over there. This is also an adverb of place. This does not come as mudaf. This will not come as mudaf. Okay. طيب, that's the second point. The third point in this lesson, inshallah, that we want to derive is there are certain words which are mu'rab. There are certain words which are mu'rab. Remember, we said that the Arabic words, the nouns, we were speaking about nouns, we said nouns are either mu'rab or mabni. So let me write this down. Al-ismu, this is in terms of the ending, yeah? So we can categorize nouns into different categories. So al-ismu, the noun in terms of the ending changing or staying fixed, is two types. Mu'rabun or mabniyun. Mu'rabun means the ending changes. Mabniyun means the ending is fixed. How do we differentiate between the two? The same way we differentiate between the ma'rif and the nakira. We find that originally the nouns are mu'rab, but there are some categories which come into these categories, and I think there's 10 in total. We just have to memorize them, and then you know in turn anything which is not here falls into this category. So for example, the asma'ul ishara, all mabni. Asma'ul ishara. What's asma'ul ishara? The demonstrative pronouns. The dama'ir are all mabni. Al-dama'ir are all mabni. Then we have the asma'ul istifham. For example, the nouns used to ask questions, they're all mabni, with some exceptions for asma'ul ishara. So you memorize these, and whatever is not here falls into this category. The point that we're trying to say is that mu'rab nouns now, the ones which change, we said there's three possibilities, right? Dhamma or dhammatain, kasra or kasratain, fatha or fathatain. Dhamma, dhammatain, the technical name is marfu'un, majrurun, mansubun. So we have marfu'un, majrurun, mansubun. This is in words where the endings allow for the dhamma and the fathas to be seen. Okay. There are some mu'rab nouns where they are mu'rab, the endings change, but we cannot see the endings. So it's estimated. So this, if it's seen, we say dhahir. Dhahirun means it's seen, it's visible. And then there are ones which are muqaddar. What does muqaddar mean? Muqaddar means that they are not seen, they are estimated. These changing, the dhammas and the kasra and the fathas, they're not seen, rather they are estimated. Zahirun, they are seen. So like Muhammadun, Muhammadin, Muhammadan. The changing there is zahir, it's visible. Dan, din, dun. Allahu, Allah, Allahi is zahir. But there are nouns which the endings change, they are mu'rab. They don't fall into any of these categories. So they are mu'rab, but the endings are not, the changing is not seen, it's estimated. So example of this, and we're going to have 3 in total inshallah. So if you want to take notes, leave 3 spaces. So the first one, all right here, yeah, mu'rab nouns ending in alif. Any mu'rab noun which ending in alif, ends in alif is better to write, ends in alif. Any mu'rab noun which ends in alif, then the ending is going to be muqaddar, estimated. Why is that? That's because the last letter, if it ends with an alif, alif is always sakin. It doesn't accept fatha, kasra, dhamma. It's not possible to put fatha, kasra, dhamma on an alif. Which is why here the author, he says amrika. The kaf has a fatha and the alif is the last letter and it has a sukun. So amrika is majroor. Min is a harf jar, right? So amrika is majroor. Where's the harf jar? Is this word mabni? No, it's not mabni, because it doesn't fall into these categories. So it's mu'rab. So where is the kasra? Kasra is not visible because it's not zahir, it's muqaddar. It's estimated. The kasra is estimated. Why is it estimated? Because this word ends with an alif. Whenever a mu'rab word ends with, and a mu'rab noun ends with alif, then the i'rab, the fatha, kasra, dhamma, these states, they are going to be estimated. They're going to be estimated. Is this understood? I hope this is understood. I'm going to mention it one more time. Tayyib, this is a heavy dose. The ism in terms of the endings changing is 2 types. Mu'rab, the endings change. Mabni, the endings do not change. How do you differentiate between the two? We'll have categories here, which we memorize. So everything which is part of these categories falls into this side, and everything which is not part of this category falls into this side. Okay. Then the ones that the endings change, there are 2 types. The endings changing is visible, zahir. The endings changing is not visible, estimated, muqaddar. Muqaddar is 3 types. Today we mentioned the first type. First type is any word which is mu'rab ending with alif, then it's going to be muqaddar, because alif does not accept any fatha, kasra, dhamm, any vowel. Okay, and the example that we have here in this lesson is amrika. We don't say amriki, amriki. It doesn't change. It's not possible to put fatha, kasra, dhamma on the alif. We're going to have another example in Kaltarra, which is Almania, in England. Almania is Germany. So any noun which is mu'rab that has alif at the end, then it's going to be estimated. The kasra, the dhamma, or the fatha is going to be estimated. Okay. So this is the lesson. And it seems like we have run out of time, so we're going to set homework inshallah and then come back to it next lesson. Tamarin, exercises. Ajib عن الأسئلة الآتية, answer the following questions. And I think these questions are related to the text that we read. These questions are related to the text that we read up to question 7. The next exercise, اقرأ واكتب, read and write. So try your best to read and write these words. We're going to cover them next lesson inshallah. Number 3, اقرأ المثال الآتي ثم حول الجمل الآتية مثله. Read the following example and then حول, change الجمل, the sentences, the following sentences similar to it. So you apply the same thing that you witnessed in this example to the following sentences. Okay, what's the example? It says هذا كتاب. This is a book. هذا الكتاب, this book. So this is not a sentence. Hence we have to bring لي محمد جار مجرور خبر شبه جملة خبر, belongs to Muhammad. هذا الكتاب لي محمد. This book belongs to Muhammad. So what have we done? We've taken the noun after the ism al-ishara and added alif lam, add al to it. And then we have to bring a khabar to it. So let's see the sentences. Okay, so هذا الطبيب. So the first one will probably be هذا الطبيب. Not probably be, but it will be هذا الطبيب من الهند. This doctor is from India. This is a complete sentence. This is a doctor. هذا الطبيب, this doctor, what about him, is from India. To the rest of the exercise. So this is the homework. We stop here, and the next lesson we're going to do the homework and then start from here. بارك الله فيكم. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.